Welcome back, Patriots, to the Bald Brad Show. It is Thursday. Holy smokes, we're almost towards the end of the week, or we are over hump day at least. It is September 26th, and let me tell you, we got a jam-packed show for y'all. Let me just show you what I got queued up for all of you going today. You see those tabs at the top? All of these tabs? Yeah, that's not even half of them. We got a lot of news to cover for you, folks. If you haven't already, hit that like button as you enter into the stream. If you're watching this as a premiere, or what I mean is later on in the day after we're done going live, well, leave us a comment down below. We would love to hear from you. Good morning, everybody. Karen, Cat Mom. Karen, just to let you know, I did get your email. Mizzy, PT302, Big Weave. We also have Sharon, Take America Back, Miriam, Kathleen, Q1969, Carly, 1776. Hey, good morning, Carly. Carly, I don't recognize you. Are you normally in here with us? Are you new? If you are, I salute you. Danielle H, Patrick H. Maybe Carly's been in here for a while. I don't recognize the name, but I feel like I would recognize that 1776. I love that at the end. Well, folks, we have a lot of stuff to get into, so let's just jump right into it. Kamala Harris sucks ass. She is terrible. I know all of you know this, but it is really a remarkable thing that this is the best that Democrats have to offer. She is the best that they could possibly put forward. That is a remarkable thing. The fact that they have no bench. I mean, if you look at us, right, we got Ted Cruz. Hell, you have Trey Gowdy coming out of the woodworks. Jason Chaffetz. Who else do we got? Vivek Ramaswamy. You have Donald Trump Jr. You got Eric Trump. I understand they're not in politics, but I mean, the bench just keeps going. Tom Cotton, Tim Scott. I mean, do we need to keep going down and down and down the list of who Republicans can pull? Ron DeSantis, Greg Abbott if we had to, because he's pretty great. It's just unbelievable that this is who they have. They have Kamala Harris, a lady that is a word salad that hasn't done anything in 3.5 years. I mean, in some way it does make sense, right? I mean, Hillary Clinton didn't do jack shit. Barack Obama didn't do jack shit. Joe Biden didn't do jack shit for like 50 years. I mean, it's the same thing over again. And here she is. She literally hasn't done anything in her entire career. And now she's elevated to the highest levels of office. Well, here she is just the other day.
While he constantly got played by China, I will never hesitate to take swift and strong measures when China undermines the rules of the road at the expense of our workers, our communities, and our companies, whether it's flooding the market with steel, inferior, or at all, unfairly subsidizing shipbuilding, or hurting our small businesses with counterfeits. While he constantly...
Folks, they've been lax on China. They haven't done anything on China. Folks, President Trump brought China to their knees by bringing in billions and billions of dollars through tariffs. She hasn't done nothing, along with Joe Biden. I don't know what the hell I don't think she even knows what she's talking about, to be quite honest. And she's going to say later on in that same speech that no one can tell me we can't build quickly in our country.
Empire State Building, you know how long it took to build that? 1 year. The Pentagon, you know how long that took? 16 months. No one can tell me we can't build quickly in our country. The Empire State.
There's no thoughts. Folks, she spent almost $8 billion on electric cars. You know, the charging stations? She's only built 7 of them. Yeah, those charging stations that you see? $8 billion almost, and has built only 7. Now, Kamala, you want to listen carefully here? Because you like to talk to us like we're children, so I'm going to talk to you like you're a child, Kamala. Why don't you remove some of the regulations? And I'd also like to point out these public unions, not the private unions, the public unions also go against the public's interest. Higher wages, only can work certain hours, only so many people in the job. There has to be a certain amount of people in the job not doing jack shit versus people that are actually working. So there's a reason why things go slow. Hell, I work in California. There's a thing called Caltrans that takes years to build a fucking street. I hate the cuss, but dude, it drives me up a wall. We have a thing called Caltrans here. They're the ones that deal with kind of the road building and those types of things. Yeah, they're terrible. I never see them working. Adam Carolla actually has complained about this for decades at this point. So, no, we can build things fast, and we used to, but then the Democrat Party started implementing all these regulations and red tape, and then the unions got involved and all these other things. And I love the fact, if you notice, she's in Pittsburgh. Folks, just to give you an idea, Pennsylvania staples are more expensive than ever before because Kamala's failed economic policies. Here's a few little numbers for you. Now, I looked at Angelino's cheesesteak. Have you ever been there? 28% increase. Pastrami sandwich with the Primati Bros, 28% increase. Lunch at Shady Maple, check this one out, 40. Well, that's the next one. 36% increase. Farm Show milkshake. So if anybody's familiar with Pittsburgh and calling out your localities, a 20% increase. If you've heard of Berkey Creamery, that ice cream, well, that's a 41% increase. So there's that for you. But no, make sure all you swing voters go out and vote Kamala because you love that huge increase in your expenses, huh? They love it. Well, I want to get to the meat of the show early on today rather than later. Like I normally tease you for about 20 or 30 minutes. Not today, right? Dangling the carrot in front of you by the show or during the show. Well, Kamala had an interview yesterday with MSNBC. I know. Rare sight. You probably just spit out your coffee or almost hit somebody swerving your car. Like, what the hell did he just say? She did an interview? Oh, I look, folks. Hey, I use that term loosely. Okay, if you want to call this an interview, sure. We're gonna break it down for you. Let me wet my whistle a little bit. Kamala has been in office for basically 4 years at this point. I think it's been over 3.5 now. Okay, we can stop saying that. And is just now talking about cutting bureaucracy in order to build more housing. I swear, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen from a borderline Marxist coming to like being a centrist Democrat in the matter of like 20 days. I've never seen a flip-flop like this in my life. I thought Joe Biden was bad. I really did. I thought Joe Biden's flip-flopping was bad. This is some next level stuff.
It includes also what we must do to cut red tape. You're absolutely right. It takes far too long and there's too much bureaucracy associated with home building. And I say that as a devout public servant. I know that we have to reduce the red tape and speed up what we need to do around building. And that is going to require working from the federal level with state and local governments. And it's going to be different in different places. It includes...
Yo. Oh, isn't it the craziest? Look, I actually agree with her. That's the crazy shit. I actually agree with her. But she doesn't mean it. It's all bull. It's all bull. Again, where's the follow-up of, yeah, that's great. I 100% agree with you. Why didn't you do it for the last 4 years? Yeah, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you sit there and make a phone call to Governor Gavin Newsom, that nut job, and tell him how to fix things? Why didn't you do any of this? Notice there's no follow-up here. What I would, dude, knowing me, I would sit there and spend the entire hour-long interview asking the same effing question until I got one answer out of it. I don't care about any of my other questions. Why didn't you do it for the last 4 years? I understand, ma'am, your question, but you still haven't answered mine. Why did you not do it the last 4 years? And then she'll do her word salad again. I get what you're saying, ma'am. Yeah. Why didn't you do it the last 4 years, right? And then kind of have some makeshift stuff, have her write it out, maybe get some crayons for her, some nice little drawings and stuff like that. See if she can figure it out then. But I would spend the entire hour and a half doing it. Now, MSNBC doesn't have a spine because they're really called MSNDNC, but that's for another time. Kamala fails to explain how she plans to tackle price gouging. But remember, if you just shout stuff to the skies, Democrats will vote for it. Doesn't matter how you're going to do it. It's just let's shout it out there. And when it doesn't work, then we can pretend to be shocked, even though Republicans tell you it's not going to work. Here we go.
They're still high.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You said you want to take this on by going after those who engage in price gouging.
Yeah.
But as somebody who supports free markets, who's a capitalist, how do you go after price gouging? Capitalist. How do you, who's a capitalist, who's a capitalist, who's a capitalist, who's a capitalist? How do you go after price gouging without implementing price controls? Because once we get in this zone, people start to get worried and they say, I don't know what she stands for.
So,
you know why they threw that in there, right? The capitalist, because she's being labeled as a Marxist right now. And so like, we need to change the public perception. They think I'm full commie. You have some crazy ideas, lady. Come on.
Just to be very frank, I am never going to apologize for going after companies and corporations that take advantage of the desperation of the American people. And as Attorney General, I saw this happen. In the midst of an emergency, whether it be an extreme weather event or even the pandemic, we saw it, where those few companies, not the majority, not most, but those few companies that would take advantage of the desperation of people and jack up prices. Yeah, I'm going to go after them. Yes, I'm going to go after them. And that is part of a much more comprehensive plan on what we can do to bring down the cost of living, including housing, including the everyday needs of the American people.
Patriots? How you gonna do it, Kamala? How are you gonna do it? Well, I'm for people that do the price gouging. I'm gonna go after them for some sort of pandemic and global warming related weather issues. There's none of that going on right now. First of all, you notice they just shout price gouging. Who is price gouging? Now, you've all heard me bitch and complain about cereal because, look, I'm a cereal guy. I love to have cereal late at night. Okay, so sue me. Don't really. I love a box of cereal, $6.99. You're not going to get me to buy boxes of cereal at that price. I'm sorry. That's insane. A bag of chips is $4.99, some cases $5.99 for a bag of Doritos. Not doing it. I've shed 20 pounds by looking at the prices. I mean, this is one of the best things that's ever happened to me health-wise, is you jacking up the prices for some other reason. Inflation, by the way. Well, I'm not buying it now. It's really easy to, because, it's my wallet, right? It's not Johnson & Johnson's wallet. It's not Kroger's wallet. No, it's none of those shopping or grocery outlets' wallet. No, it's my wallet. So if I think that they're price gouging me, guess what I don't do, Patriots? Well, I don't buy the product. That's simple, easy. Easy, simple. Simple, easy, simple. She doesn't get that, though. No plan. I'm going to sit there and go after them. What if, she doesn't name a single company, because she'd be sued over it, by the way, because it's in part fabricated. I don't know which companies. Maybe you guys know. I don't know which company she's talking about that are price gouging. Like, I just don't know what companies. I'm going to leave it at that. I have no idea what the hell she's talking about. Maybe they are. But I'm just not seeing it. And she has no plan. So after ripping on President Trump about his tariffs, right? Mind you, they still have tariffs on China that was implemented under the Trump administration, still under the Biden administration, but she's going to rip Donald Trump for his tariffs. Now, Kamala Harris pretends that she cares about American manufacturing remaining in America. Folks, I tell you, I've never seen somebody flip-flop like this before.
So which is more important? It's most important that we maintain America's ability to have American manufacturing of steel by American workers for a number of reasons, which includes, again, back to the point of growing our economy and how I think about the economy overall, investing.
You don't think at all. What the hell are you talking about? Can we go back? I'm sorry. Come on.
Growing our economy and how I think about the economy and how I think about the economy. I think about the economy overall. I think about the economy overall. I think about the economy overall. Investing in new industries. There is not a new industry that I can imagine that is not going to require steel manufacturing of steel as a fundamental part of what it accomplishes. And having American workers in an American company manufacturing that steel for those new industries is going to be critically important, not only in terms of our economy, but also in the context of national security. Most people now...
I hate to say it, but she really does sound like a high school student trying to sit there and bullshit her way through an answer. Like, how you haven't been paying attention in economics, and so you're just going over basically the introduction paragraph of the chapter, nothing else, like no actual substance. That's basically what's taking place here.
Realize if we didn't before the pandemic and the strain on supply chains and an over-reliance on foreign manufacturing, that we have to be intentional about U.S.-based manufacturing. And of the products that we have to prioritize, steel is one of them. And that's always going to be my priority.
Look at that face. Like, fuck, did I get through it okay? Is that okay? Yeah? Is that okay? Yeah? Is that okay? Oh, boy. Oh, we're not done. You think we're done? Yo, hey, at least she's speaking somewhat a little bit more coherently. Now, I don't want to say she's quick with her responses because I don't think this was a live. I'm pretty sure it was pre-taped. She's getting slightly better, not much. I mean, that's me. I'm trying to find some positives here, folks. We can't be negative all day. You know what I mean? We got a full day ahead of us. Well, Kamala says she's serious, folks, about her enthusiasm of raising taxes on 26 million small business people. But don't worry, she's gonna give you a break by giving you $50,000.
I'm serious about my enthusiasm and for small businesses and my belief in what they will do as part of America's economic engine.
On Friday, sorry.
No, so looking at the fact that right now the tax deduction is $5,000, nobody in this year of our Lord 2024 can start a small business with $5,000. Very few can.
I did. I did. I actually started this business with $0. Yeah. Oh, me here. Yep. I mean, I worked multiple jobs to help fund this thing, and I still do. But it's a hobby, right? But it is also a business. We got a website. We have merchandise. We have members. We have subscribers. We got platforms. I mean, we are heading towards, something great, and it's because of you patriots, which I greatly want to appreciate. You guys always know I like giving you shout outs because I appreciate y'all, and it's a blessing to be able to do this and hang out with you fine people every single morning. So the $50,000, well, it's not. We talked about it. Come on.
So extending it to $50,000 tax deduction for startups to generate the innovation and the ambition of the ideas that are present and among us, but need the fuel to be able to actually achieve the goal.
Folks, let me explain how a deduction works, okay? Just in layman's terms. Let's say going before the deduction, right? Your AGI, your adjusted gross income on your tax return was $50,000. Let's just say you're a business, AGI is $50,000, Schedule C, simple, rolls into your 1040. You get that $50,000 deduction, let's just say. Your taxable income is now zero. That's great. But remember, most small businesses for their first few years don't make any money. They're actually at a loss. So it's more of a pandering than anything. It doesn't actually do much, where maybe if you're offering people a credit to start up a small business, that might have more of an impact on it, or offer something where it's just not a deduction your first year. Because again, like I mentioned, most people aren't making $50,000 their first year in a startup business out of their garage or out of their closet. Can you imagine if I made $50,000? Oh, by the way, we're $50,000 a year on this is like, we're nowhere near. You are like in another galaxy if you think we're making $50,000. If you think we're making like thousands and thousands of dollars, you're still sorely mistaken. So, what we got people saying here, where was it? I saw somebody wrote, "Make it stop." You guys are writing too fast, right, Brad? When we had all this to BS our way out of ignorance at some point, yeah, we all had. I mean, even me. But that's just what it sounds like. She just sounds like a high school student that can't sit there and actually read a textbook and BS your way through. So, when the Teamsters decided not to endorse you, what was their reasoning? Just wait for it. Wait for it.
Unions have gotten behind you. I want to understand, when the Teamsters decided not to endorse you, what was their reasoning? What are they looking for?
Well, let me go back to our just previous conversation. I'm very proud to have the endorsement of the steelworkers and almost every other major union in America, because I stand by workers and I stand by the importance of being able to join a union and to understand the benefit and the value of unions. And I understand the importance of investing in new industries and working actively with the private sector to grow our economy.
But I'm asking because there's this idea, we want something.
I'm asking because you actually didn't answer my question whatsoever.
More from her. What is it?
Well, here's the thing, that back to your point about previous election cycles, Donald Trump made a whole lot of promises that he did not meet, and one would argue broke.
But not all unions have gotten behind you. I want to.
There you go. Dizzy said, I'm playing guitar for nickels and dimes, but you love doing it, man. You love playing the guitar, and that's what's most important, is doing something you love. You get enjoyment out of it. It ain't about the money. It's about the happiness and about the thrill of doing it. And that's what we have here. It's about the happiness of running the show. I've always wanted to do it. And like I said, meeting fine people such as yourselves each and every day, reading what you have to say in the live chat, reading your comments, folks. I literally lay on my couch, and I just sit there and swipe, and I read all your comments. Sometimes for like hours. I read them throughout the day. It's not like I do it all in one sitting, but I sit there and I swipe and I swipe and I swipe. I love to see what people have to say. And what's nice is because you get to see some of what the left has to say, and it's always hilarious. It's always some knucklehead thing. Well, Kamala, who's just absolutely clueless through this interview. I mean, it is a remarkable thing that she got put forth. Like I said, this is the best the Democrats have to offer. Oh shit. So Kamala, who kept many President Trump's successful tariffs in place, which we mentioned earlier, calls tariffs a sales tax on the American people.
Ask you about tariffs because you just mentioned it. It's not just with one company. Donald Trump's sort of big idea is this broad-based tariffs across the board. You and many others have said that would be not only disastrous, but it would be a direct tax on the American consumer.
It would be a sales tax on the American people.
It would be a sales tax on the American people.
The independent economists have already measured this by
Can we go back?
In the independent sales tax on the American people, the independent economists have already measured this by the sales tax of doing a 20% tariffs on all imports that he has described would be a 20% sales tax, in essence, on basic necessities for the average American worker, average American family, totaling almost $4,000 a year. That is no small matter. Here in Pittsburgh, when I'm talking to a group of folks who work here, who live here, and when they hear it might be $4,000 more a year for them, look, people can't afford that.
Yo, look, when people sit there and say it's going to cost them $4,000 a meal, they can't sit there and afford that. You mean in the same way people have to sit there and make $15,000 more under you and Biden than they did under Trump just to break even? Same shit. By the way, there is some truth, by the way, that tariffs do create some sort of increased price of said good, and whatever tariff tax gets put on the country of choosing, that does usually get placed back on us. So in a way, I understand what she means by a sales tax, but 20% sounds very egregious. And by the way, if she really cared about the fact that this was going to be a sales tax on the American people, like I mentioned, there's a bunch of tariffs on China right now, as well as other nations that are importing goods or bringing goods over. So she would have cut those if she really cared. And it's always interesting how she's picky and choosy on what she likes to talk about that's negative about taxes. All the while she sat there and said she wants to implement an unrealized capital gains tax of 25%, which has never happened. If you ask any accountant, they'll say it's batshit crazy. It was always batshit crazy, even to Democrats. But somehow now when you get a freaking lady that's trying to be a capitalist or being called a capitalist, it's all freaking smoke and mirrors. Well, you know, all of a sudden, yeah, it's bad to do imports, and all of a sudden she likes taxes but doesn't like taxes, and it's. Do you think Democrats are able to keep track of this lady? Because she's like this, man. I mean, she is a freaking wind in the wind. She's like going back and forth on everything. And when you bring it up, do you guys ever watch those on the street interviews of people questioning Kamala about like, hey, who you're voting for, and people like Kamala Harris, and they're just like, hey, can you name like one good thing that she did? And there's people that go, well, there's a list of things. Cool, can you just name like one? Just one. I won't even ask anything remotely after. They can't do it. It's a crazy thing. The stuff she's done for women, like it's always broad terms. Let's throw something broad out there that encompasses something. Well, she sat there and allowed us to breathe. So these people, it's just, again, they don't think about these things. It makes you wonder what they actually do think about. Well, you have this more interview saying there are a lot of Americans who don't see themselves in your plans. What do you say to them? Oh, fuck.
Madam Vice President, you just laid out your economic vision for the future.
Yeah.
But still, there are lots of Americans who don't see themselves in your plans. For those who say these policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
Well, if you are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do.
You guys, can we just play along with me here, like indulge me for a second? Can we just all close our eyes and let just like pretend you're like in some sort of hippie 1970s shack at maybe some concert, whatever the hell. Everybody's smoking around you, right? They're blitzed out of their minds. And then you just hear your buddy like in the back trying to answer some detailed question. And he's just baked out of his mind. The dude's so high that he doesn't even know his name. And this is what it would sound like. Legitimately, this is what it would sound like. Somebody that's on shrooms or like some on psychedelics that don't know where the hell they are. Like they are gone.
Are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do, you're in my plan. You know, I have to tell you, I really love and am so energized by what I know to be the spirit and character of the American people. We have ambition. We have aspirations. We have dreams. We can see what's possible. We have an incredible work ethic. But not everyone has the access to the opportunities that allow them to achieve those things. But we don't lack for those things. But not everyone, you know, gets handed stuff on a silver platter. And so my vision for the economy, I call it an opportunity economy, is about making sure that all Americans, wherever they start, wherever they are, have the ability to actually achieve those dreams and those ambitions, which include, for middle-class families, just being able to know that their hard work allows them to get ahead, right? I think we can't and we shouldn't aspire to have an economy that just allows people to get by. People want to do more than just get by. They want to get ahead. And I come from the middle class.
Oh, God, dude. You know what it also reminds me of? Is like those beauty pageants where they're like, what is your plan for America? My plan for America is to make sure people can breathe correctly through their nose and mouth and make sure that they can eat food and have water and that it rains every month. Like, what the fuck? She sounds like a pothead, dude. She does. Like, no shit. I feel like if I went down the street a few miles and went on the railroad tracks and talked to the homeless encampment, some dude that's freaking on, you know, fentanyl, and he's just kind of hitting there going, I feel like I would get a very similar answer out of him that I would out of Kamala. It's not too far off of somebody being just drunk off their ass and trying to sit there and piece together their thoughts so that it makes it seem like they're not drunk. I mean, the lies just keep going, folks. She brought up the whole Goldman Sachs CEO thing again. The complete lie. I don't want to continue to harp, but there's a lot more I got probably another 15, 20 minutes of her footage. But you have this anchor. I don't know if it's an anchor, but the person that was conducting the interview, her name's like Stephanie Roulet or something like that, coming out saying this after the interview.
Talk about that answer.
I do, but here's what's a little tricky. She doesn't answer the question around if the GOP is controlling the Senate, if she can't raise corporate taxes, where is she going to get the money from, to expand the child tax credit and do all the things she wants to do? And she says, we just have to do it. And that's great, and that's a campaign promise. But the issue is, if it means we're just going to borrow again, then what we're doing is we're just never addressing the deficit. And back in the days when you were a proud Republican, debts and deficits mattered.
Talk about that answer.
Back in the day when you were a proud Republican, what happened? Here's the thing. It's kind of like that idea, that analogy that we always talk about, the fact that Democrats will bitch, they'll moan and complain about all the problems that they voted for and created by implementing some sort of Democrat politician in the office, like we see in the state of California, like you see in like Seattle, Portland, Oregon, those places. So she sat there and had no follow-ups. She gave nothing but softball questions. And then she's going to bitch and complain the fact that she let Kamala Harris get by without actually answering any questions. It's the same analogy where it's like, well, if you're not going to sit there and actually use your actions as an interviewer to sit there and make sure that the person that's being interviewed answers your questions, then don't come out of it moaning and complaining the fact that they didn't sit there and answer your questions when you didn't sit there and follow up to force them or push them to answer your questions. You sat there and smiled like a bumbling idiot. And it was. She didn't push back. No, not whatsoever. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Let's get into more of the news here, folks. We got a lot of it. Speaking of Democrats and bumbling idiots, we got Gavin Newsom coming up, and well, he's just terrible. He's just riding this state right into the ground. I wanted to give a shout out though to 4 Patriots, folks, before we move on. It's National Preparedness Month, folks, and you know us, we like to be doomsday preppers because it's folks, what's going on in the Middle East is insane. It's only getting worse. And then you also have Russia, Ukraine. I mean, we could be going into World War III here. And we've talked about this a lot. I want to make sure you guys are prepared. So for Patriots, we want to celebrate by bringing back this unbelievable buy one, get one deal on solar generators for a limited time, you guys. When you buy the powerful Patriot Power Generator 2000X, you'll get a mini generator for free, you guys. Plus, you'll also get 2 solar panels for free as well. This is an insane deal they're throwing out right now. That's right. Not 1, but 2 solar panels come with this incredible buy one, get one deal on solar generators. So claim your power independence and free mini generator and free solar panels by going to 4patriots.com. Again, that's 4patriots.com. Hurry, though. You will only have until midnight on September 30th, so a few more days, to claim your free mini generator. Go to 4patriots.com today, folks. Make sure you're prepared, because where things are heading, it can only get worse with Kamala Harris in office if she's elected. And then you really want to prepare. Mind you, ammo's already through the roof. Ammo is ridiculous. So, tack that onto, well, the sales tax on tariffs. Wait till they increase the taxes on your ammo. They almost treat it like it's a sin tax or something. You know what I mean? Crazy. So here's Newsom that is just helping drive the state in the ground. Mind you, this guy wants to run for president at some point. Hey, good morning, Heather. It's good to see you. Newsom sued over a bill barring... I'm always on the parent side, you guys. This is a bill that's barring schools telling parents their child is transitioning. What they want to do in your school systems, and by the way, if you think this isn't coming to a school near you, tell me that in a few years, because California, what happens is California is the testing ground for these crazy Democrats, because they know they can get away with it here in this state because other Democrats allow them to do it. And then once they see they can get away with it, well, then they start implementing it in your school districts, that's in your area. This is crazy. The bill states, this bill would prohibit school districts, county offices of education, charter schools, and the state special schools, and a member of the governing board of body of those educational entities from enacting or enforcing any policy, rule, or administrative regulation that requires an employee or a contractor to disclose any information related to a pupil's sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression to any other person without the pupil's consent, unless otherwise required by law as provided. Basically meaning, hey, your son or daughter goes up to a teacher or some sort of contractor on campus and talks about their gender identity, says, even though I'm a biological male, I think I'm a female, which comes with a lot of outgrowths and confusion and stuff you want to catch early. And so rather than notifying the parents like, hey, just to let you know, your son James wants to be called Jessica and is wearing girls' skirts, girls' panties, going into the girls' bathroom, all those things. I just wanted to let you know so that if you wanted to do something about it, you could. I just want to make you aware of this is what's going on, because people act in one way at home, right? Like we see in the movies where the girl doesn't wear any makeup, right? She's not wearing any scandalous clothes. Her dad gets you can't wear that, all those things. She goes to school. She starts pulling out like the tank tops, the skirts, right? Putting on the makeup in the school bathroom, all those things. It's like that idea, but souped up. And now you're just going to sit there and hide this stuff from the parents. I am not okay with hiding anything from the parents. I've gone as far to say, put microphones and cameras inside the classroom. I understand the reason why some don't want that, because somebody could hack into it, right? And then you're looking at children on camera, all this stuff. I say put 8K cameras in the classroom. I got nothing to hide. If anything, I would want different camera angles so that if somebody says they weren't cheating, but I'm zooming in going, what the hell is that? I could see the cheat sheet, right? Or, hey, this is how your son, like clip it. This is how your son or daughter's behaving in the classroom. Hey, here's a back angle of your son or daughter on their screens playing video games rather than actually contributing to the class and making a productive social environment so they can learn correctly. I would love that. You know, and then you get to hear what your teachers are saying, right? I'm sure many of you would love to know, hey, what are like they learning in the classroom? Like, what is the teacher doing? Let me go ahead as a parent and just kind of log into the live feed there and see what the hell is going on. So I'm not against that. I think the more light and exposure to things is always a good thing. I don't like when people hide things from people's parents. I even tell my students, I'm like, look, if you're not going to study in the classroom and you're not going to do what I want you to do, and you bomb the test, I am throwing your ass under the bus. So I don't say ass, right? But I say I'm going to throw you under the bus. Like, I'm going to tell your parents that you weren't studying. You were given a certain amount of days and times and hours to do things. I offered such and such things to be successful in the thing. You didn't want to do it. Thus, you got a bad grade. I'm going to throw you under the bus. And rightfully so, because your parents are the ones that are, you know, wanting you to have a good education. I took that way too long than I needed to, but it's pretty crazy, right? Is mine the only one here? I'm reading the chat. I'm trying to see you guys, like, see, kind of feel out the room a little bit and see what people think here. But I don't think you guys would be okay with the school not telling you what's going on with your son or daughter. Well, here's a clip from CNN. I always love seeing this, man. Well, I don't think he needs any introduction at this point, to be quite honest.
Discuss the relative gatherings of anti-Semitism in this country going on over the last few months. And you want to talk about who's getting together where and what their political proclivities are. Let's talk about what's gone on all these college campuses. Let's talk about what's gone on the streets of New York City. And he is talking about the policy. He did have strong pro-Israel policies. He did take a hard line against Iran. And right now, the U.S. government is constantly loosey with the football, trying to deal with Hamas. The anti-Semitism problem in this country is on the left. It is not on the right.
No.
If you guys want to poo-poo what we have seen on the streets of America in the wake of October the 7th, the amount of ugly anti-Semitic people ripping down the posters of hostages, these are not Republicans ripping them down, okay? You cannot deny what we have seen in America since October the 7th, and it has only to do with one thing. Anti-Semitism is on the rise, and there are people who feel like now is the time to let it out, and it is ugly.
Marjorie, Jewish
you're making a tactical argument, and everybody sitting at this table knows where the source of anti-Semitism is in this country. It is not on the right. It is not. So you're saying one person who got invited to a stupid dinner versus the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of progressive activists in the streets, that's the equivocation?
Actually, that's an insane equivocation for you. These college kids who are wrong, I have denounced those.
Well, that's your party now. Those are your people.
Huh?
Those are the people you seek to represent.
Yeah, because I would never belong to a party.
That's your coalition.
Okay,
that's your coalition.
Scott Jennings doing the Lord's work. Again, the progressive left, folks, is truly the source of ugly anti-Semitism, and it's only really coming from one side. And they'll be, well, you got these racist ultra-Republicans. Like, no, by the way, it's not even a Republican value to be racist. Like, Republicans are the ones that got rid of slavery, right? Republicans weren't part of the Klan. Republicans sat there and passed the civil rights. It's astonishing how somehow they keep labeling us all these things that we're not, but that's actually attributed to their party. I don't know. It's weird as hell. I always thought it was interesting, like the Charlottesville thing gets played as people that are far right, but yet they don't carry the far right values by definition. Weird. Now, Secret Service, this one's going to freaking piss you guys off. We got updates here on Donald Trump's first assassination attempt from the Butler rally in Pennsylvania, which, by the way, he's going back to October 5th. So I really hope that they secure long range, because now everybody knows when he's showing up, and I hope he has bulletproof glass. I hope he has Secret Service up the wazoo there. But now they're saying the Secret Service was warned of a credible threat in the days leading up to the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump at a July 13th, not that long ago, campaign rally. The Senate Committee of Homeland Security, or on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs, released a report on the attack that detailed numerous failures by the Secret Service to secure the site and to respond to threats. Again, my question was proposed of how many flaws or errors or lack of something do you need to do for you to make the plausible idea that this was done on purpose? Like the Secret Service, them sitting there not doing their damn jobs. Like at what point do we say, you know what? They actually just did this stuff on purpose. And what was funny was after I went through an entire week of saying all that same exact thing pretty much, Dan Bongino comes out and answers my question on a Monday morning. And I think he's behind it, where I think he agrees too of this was done on purpose. This isn't just ignorance or just a lack of being a dum-dum. I think this was done on purpose. I think there's some sort of, and I hate to be vague because now I sound like a Democrat, but I think there is some sort of coordination either from our inside government, from our intelligence community, or from somebody like Iran that worked with this individual. We still don't have any answers, you guys. Isn't that fucking unbelievable? Do any of you, the answers that they gave us, you guys, was sitting there going, well, they said it was their fault, and they said it was their fault, and it was their fault. So no answers came out from the huge report, by the way, the committee that finds the United States Secret Service failures in planning and communications. Like, we got no answers from it. It's just crazy. Crazy. So we don't know what happened. We don't know who the kid was communicating with. We don't know why he was near all those FBI buildings before. We don't know why he had cell phone pings near a highly trafficked area, specifically by our FBI and CIA people over there on the East Coast. Like, it just doesn't make sense. We don't know anything, and I don't think we ever will, because I think it's a cover up, and I think the deep state's involved, and I think people are doing some foozery. I'm trying to be careful with my language. Dan Bongino absolutely says it was all purposeful. Yeah, I agree with him. I watch Dan every single morning, and I kind of lean you guys over to his show after my show. That way you at least have some breadcrumbs of what he might bring up. Kamala Harris stumped when asked how she'll pay for her agenda. Well, she couldn't do that. We saw that in the interview already, so I had that queued up, but we've already been there. You also have this. The Argentina president just goes off on the United Nations, you guys. It's freaking unbelievable. If you didn't see that clip, I don't want to watch the whole thing, but you all know this guy, right? Huge MAGA supporter, was sitting there like ripping stuff. Like they had this board, this agenda that had all these leftist policies on it. And he just starts ripping them off. Like, we're going to get rid of that one. We're going to get rid of that one. This one's bad. So this guy's Javier is trying to turn Argentina around, and he declared war on the global left during a rousing speech at the United Nations this week, where he announced that his country would no longer remain neutral and on the sidelines. So this guy's trying to make an actual change in his country, and I love to see it. And he realizes the toxicity of the progressive left. I mean, you guys know that I mean, I'm going to plug it, right? Because, well, it's just me. My book, right? How the Left is Destroying America. We can go and write another book that's saying how the left is destroying the world. That too. I mean, look what's happening in the Middle East. The left would be considered like Hamas, right? Because the left does support Hamas. The left supports terrorism. Well, no, they don't, Brad. Really, the Democrat Party's giving the Taliban $87,000. Wow, that's not even close. $87 million. They're giving the Iranians $10 billion. The Iranian, can you guys believe that our money is still sitting there for the humanitarian aid of the Iranians, even though the government has put a hit out on a former president, even though they've gone after our own military personnel, like actually dropping bombs on them, even after they've put a few ships, merchant vessels to the bottom of the ocean, we're still giving them money. Isn't that a remarkable thing? Even though their nuclear facilities are all of a sudden starting back up again. I can't wrap my head around this shit sometimes. He warned that the UN has veered off course in recent decades. That is 100% true. From its original charter of ensuring major global war did not erupt again by adopting principles. Well, that's because the countries that are in the UN are corrupt as shit, and they want to see Israel wiped off the face of the earth. They don't mind the fact that certain areas around the world are harboring terrorists, like the United States right now, by the way, and Iran, and all these things. They don't have a spine and actual backbone. So, yeah, the United Nations should be dissolved, in my opinion. It doesn't do anything. Democrats will go, well, it does something. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. What they found here, though, something that doesn't matter to a lot of people, specifically in swing states, is the January 6th stuff. And MSNBC is totally shocked the fact that people don't really give two craps about January 6th anymore. And so here they are in a great video going around. And, well, I think, like I always say, it speaks for itself on January 6th and what people think about it.
Talk to me about your level of interest in the
I just blow your eardrums. That's my bad.
the criminal charges and so forth.
February 6th?
January 6th.
So I remember that day. I know he was the standing president. I'm not familiar with the charges that are being brought against him for that. I'm not following that charge or I know there's multiple court cases going on. I'm just not familiar with it.
I mean, that doesn't sound like it's going to be a factor in deciding who to vote for.
No.
Okay, so when I say January 6th, what do you think?
Oh, I just remember seeing it on the news, like all the riots and stuff. Don't really know what it was about or what happened, though.
How did it make you feel when you saw it?
I don't know. I don't really feel any way about it. People showed their emotion, I guess. Probably in the wrong way, but it happened.
And talk to me.
To be quite frank, I'm not a big fan of this guy's attitude right here, this guy.
People showed their emotion, I guess.
I don't like that because that's very similar to what the Democrats say about burning down Minneapolis and all these small businesses. They're just showing their emotion. They're just rioting. Like, they're just getting their aggression out. Folks, again, I've always said this, January 6th, like those people going inside the Capitol and even standing on people's desks and doing stupid shit, it's not a good thing. I will never say it was a good thing. I think if I look in a holistic viewpoint, people had permits to go sit there outside the Capitol and protest peacefully. They can go out there with their signs and their flags and all that stuff and do those things. Got no qualms with that. The people that went inside, I'm not a fan of that. I don't know why you think that'd be a good idea. And then to stand on like Pelosi's desk, right, do all these things. I don't like that stuff. I don't like breaking the law myself. I don't think those people should have done it. But I do think it was a wake-up call to the government that it's still the power of the people that will sit there and take over things if they need to. But I also think the idea of like, well, our government was being overran. It was the end of the republic and democracy. It's like, shut up. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. We're the most powerful military in the world. Do you think really a few thousand people that went inside and most of them just got VIP tours? Is pretty quiet. Capitol Police have their hands in their pockets. Most of them sitting there having cigars, shooting the shit, asking how the weather is outside. Like, come on. There's a reason why they only played 6 minutes, the same 6 minutes of the 40,000 hours that we had, because it was only those 6 minutes that actually captured some sort of ruckus. Well, speaking of ruckus too, ICE sat there and arrested 4 illegal aliens charged with sex crimes in Nantucket. Well, why? Why would you do this? Why would they commit crimes? I'm baffled. I was told we should just have open borders. I say this all the time. Why do we not have open borders? These people are good people. Weird. Immigration and Customs arrested 4 illegal aliens charged with various sex crimes on the island of Nantucket in Massachusetts. Anybody in here from Massachusetts? I don't know. The 4 illegal aliens were arrested by ICE in the span of just 2 days earlier this month. I mean, we literally could, I always say this, we could literally do a story like this every single day. But it's not a problem. Democrats love this stuff. They love it. Oh, they love it. Well, we know they love it because they want to allow more of this to happen, right? They want to allow more of this to happen. More people you allow in that we don't know who the hell you are, the more like this is likely. These individuals stands accused of detestable and disturbing crimes against Nantucket child. It always has to, I don't know what it is with that. They always have to go after the children. Always have to go to the children. Now, here was the update that I recalled earlier that Trump is returning to the very site that he was shot, which is, damn, man. Kudos to that guy. You know, a lot of people have, a lot of human beings have trauma. So to go back to the site where you just shot in the head and to be able to perform without that going through the back of your mind, like, is somebody going to shoot me again? You know, kudos to that man, dude. That's going to be a big, rally. And we'll be watching it. Jeff, you going to the rally? You can go to this one? I think Jeff was at the original rally of the assassination attempt. I could be wrong. Cereal is on sale at Safeway, Brad. Well, is it $4, Sharon? Because if it's $4, I'll be going. I'll spend $4 on a box of cereal. I like the $2.99, $3.99, the cheap stuff, the off-brand. But you know, I ain't paying $6.99. Nuh-uh. A lot of you talking about Candace Owens. I haven't been watching her new show recently, but I see you guys talking about her. I'm assuming it has to do with the whole Kamala Harris family birth certificate and information. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I got to watch it. I'm not sure. Candace Owens finding how Comrade Kamala in her book that they owned a cane plantation. Yeah, they owned that. That's not anything new. Yeah. Yeah, Kamala Harris's family owned slaves. Yeah. Nothing new. But anyways, he's going back to Butler, Pennsylvania. So good for him. Good for him to sit there. But it is scary, you guys. Like, I get scared of him going out and, doing stuff because the Iranians are going after him. And speaking of the Iranians, they're helping the Houthis and get powerful anti-ship missiles from Russia. Oh, this is just great. Sure glad we're giving them billions and billions of dollars. Sure glad the Obama administration with Joe Biden as vice president sat there and gave them over $1 billion cash. Ooh, I'm so glad that we sat there and hooked up the Iranians. So Iran is attempting to strengthen the Houthis. Their proxies in Yemen is reportedly acting as a go between the Houthis and Russia in order for the Russians to send anti-ship missiles to the Houthis. It's like never ending. These missiles with a range of 190 miles would enable the Houthis to increase their accuracy in targeting commercial vessels in the Red Sea and the U.S. and European warships in the area. Russia has already supplied Hezbollah, Iran's proxy in Lebanon, which again, Lebanon is having massive issues right now with the Israelis with those missiles. So Russia is negotiating with the Houthis for the safe transfer of these supersonic anti-ship missiles. So isn't that just lovely? But nothing from Kamala on this. It's I always fucking say this. How are you gonna fix the economy? Why don't you ask her why she hasn't fixed anything and everything's gotten worse? Why don't you ask her about this? Hey, because she's gonna be commander in chief. She's the one that's gonna be calling the shots. If I was in the military, I would be hoping my ass would be out within the next few months because I would not want to be under Kamala Harris. No way. With everything going on, I don't want to go to war. Nuh-uh. Candace is talking about Harris lying about her grandmother, that she included a photo in her book is not her grandmother. Well, I don't know. Candace, look, I got nothing against Candace. I just don't listen to her. I don't have enough time in my day, unfortunately. But, you know, she's a powerful speaker, and usually she does have her head on straight. So I have nothing bad to say about Candace. I just don't have anything. I don't have anything to say to what I know she's sort of been covering just off, you know, reading headlines. But I have no opinion on it. Maybe not. Truthfully, there's bigger issues right now. In my opinion, there's bigger issues right now. And, you know, it's a big issue to some. I guess it's all subjective. But, I mean, Iranians are getting help, and we might be going to World War III soon. So that's not good. And, well, there's also this one, folks. God, I've been waiting to get to this. Zuckerberg admits he messed up by getting too involved in politics. You can get involved in politics, but when you start censoring people's freedom of speech, then it becomes a problem. It wasn't about that you got too involved. It was the fact that you sat there and went against people's First Amendment rights. So Meta, who owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, Zuckerberg spoke at a podcast event in San Francisco earlier this month, at which he bemoaned the fact that his companies and their employees had weighed in too much about political matters. Yeah, so much so, asshole, that you sat there and swung the election, or at least helped it. I don't want to hear, oh, I got too involved. Oh, yeah, they sat there. We sat there and censored people. We did this or that. I don't want to hear it. And he sat there and apologized, right? Like, oh, it was my bad. I made a mistake. No. It's one thing if you do it once, right? And I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, you know what? Maybe there were some things that you didn't have influence over, or you didn't know was happening because you have these corrupt employees in your company that never got fired. They're still there, by the way, and that they're of the left. They don't like the fact that Republicans and conservatives have their heads on straight and goes against their agenda and the narrative of the left. They don't like all that. So they're going to sit there and censor us. So I get it like it's once, right? But no. This happened many times. Many times. This is not just a one-off, you guys. So I don't sit there and take this. I don't even accept this guy's apology, to be honest. You sat there and knew what you're doing, and you're treating us like we're idiots, like we forgot. The political environment, I think I didn't have much sophistication around, and I think I fundamentally misdiagnosed the problem. You think, look at the situation we're in now because I'm not going to go there. I think it's going to take another 10 years or so for us to fully work through that cycle before our brand is back to place. No, it's not. I don't think you'll ever recover. I don't think it's. By the way, the youth aren't using Facebook. So it's still like my generation that's using Facebook, like the millennials and those that are older. The new generation doesn't use that. They use Snapchat. They don't even have Facebook. They use like Instagram maybe, but mostly it's just all on Snapchat. These youngsters don't communicate like we used to with MySpace and all that other stuff. So yeah, they don't use that stuff, folks. They don't use that stuff. But I'll tell you what, something they should use as well as all of you is 1775 coffee, folks. You're seeing us always wetting our whistle. We're a morning show. It's only right that we plug something that not only tastes good, but also carries your value. So do you enjoy free speech? Because I do. That same free speech that Rumble's protecting and fighting for, well, our show is on Rumble, and it's only thanks to them and to our viewers supporting Rumble's platform by purchasing Rumble's products, folks. We always appreciate your support, not just for Rumble, but also hear us on the show. Most of you drink coffee every morning or every day, and that's why you have to try Rumble 1775 coffee if you haven't already. You guys are buying this up, actually. A lot of you are drinking it. It's actually some of the best coffee that you can get, and it's the same price as the coffee that you buy probably now, maybe even cheaper, but it's way better, folks. 1775 coffee is free from chemicals, yet rich in flavor. This is because their beans are sourced from high-altitude farms in Bolivia, has an impact on the bean itself. Hand-picked, roasted weekly at their facility in Miami, and delivered fresh to your doorstep. As believers in freedom, which we are here, folks, salute to all you freedom people, the patriots is what we call them, buying from Rumble helps fight back against woke corporations like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. Join the coffee revolution, baby, and brew rebellion with Rumble's 1775 coffee. Go to 1775coffee.com, use promo code STUDIO as always, and get a free month supply of their cognitive boosting supplement Limitless when you buy 2 bags of their coffee. Look, if you don't want the Limitless, folks, the supplement, go ahead and send it to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Maybe it'll help them a little bit. Think about that. It's a crazy deal, folks, and the supplement is worth more than the 2 bags of coffee alone. Go to 1775coffee.com and try their amazing coffee. I'm telling you, folks, their dark roast it's so good. Don't be getting that medium stuff, folks. Get the dark roast. If you want a beard like this, gentlemen, and ladies, maybe, you can get the beard like that. The beard of justice is what I call it. Well, folks, that is today's episode, today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. We got a lot of stuff coming up. We will be live on Tuesday for sure, Tuesday evening for the vice presidential debate. We'll be live for the election, obviously, so get ready for that. Plan accordingly. We're going to be doing probably our longest live stream ever. And we'll just be hanging out together. And if there's any other evening shows or news, I will let you know. But we'll be back here tomorrow, Friday episode, cleaning up what we didn't cover this week. Kind of doing the... Can somebody come up with a Friday episode show that we can use weekly? You know how, like, on my other channel, we used to do Supernatural Saturdays? Can we come up with something that's sort of like that, where it's like, you know, not the weekend roundup, but like, you know, Friday roundup or something? Can we, when I sit there and this show ends, can you guys put it in the comment section? What are some good names for a Friday show that we can use each and every week? I would love some ideas, and that way it just makes it easier for me to create a thumbnail that will just go live. And I don't know, Friday roundup, Friday sing-along, hell, I don't know. You guys are more creative than me, but let me know. We'd love to hear from you. Have a blessed day. Pray for this country. Pray for our president. Pray for Donald Trump. Pray for Kamala. Pray for Joe. Pray for everybody, folks, because things are not going the right direction. And, you know, give your loved ones a phone call, maybe. Tell them you love them, and tell them you hope they have a blessed day. I think they need to hear that, as do a lot of us. So with that being said, love you. Take care of each other. See you later, Patriots.